This is Blind Metal Gamer, and you're watching the history of Mega Man Accessibility Part 2, the 16-bit, 32-bit, and DMake eras. Hello everyone, Blind Metal Gamer back again with the history of Mega Man Accessibility Part 2. This time we're going to look at Mega Man 7 through 10 in terms of accessibility, but before we get started, I would like to give a quick shout out to Adam the Game Boy for inspiring me to make this video series. In this game you're seeing Mega Man 7, which you're seeing footage from the Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 Challenge mode. The accessibility in terms of features is the same. There's no auto fire in the original. There is no form of navigational assistance, but again, you're going from left to right on a 2D screen, so there's no need for it. Again, in this version, you do have auto fire as you're seeing in the gameplay. The one thing that I do notice when recording the footage was, in Mega Man 7, they return to the constant flashing of the enemies when hit by Mega Man's Mega Buster. Now you're probably wondering, Blind Metal Gamer, what does that have to do with accessibility? Well, it shows that apparently Capcom wasn't really thinking as far as the 16-bit games in terms of epilepsy or anything like that, because, as you know, strobing in these type of games can lead to high-risk seizures. And in this game, Mega Man 7, it is in abundance, the strobing, in terms of the flashing of enemies. Now, the explosions when enemies die in this game has been upgraded to where the enemy will not flash constantly, but they'll just explode and then they will shatter and then they'll disappear. So I guess they kind of decided to do a trade-off, they being Capcom. Instead of having the enemy sprites turn a black color and not flash, they decided to have them flash and strobe when being hit, and then just have a regular exploding animation for the time when they die. Now, as for the difficulty of the game, there was no difficulty setting on this. So as for a custom difficulty, that's not present. Again, you're seeing gameplay from the Mega Man Legacy Collection on PS4, which is being recorded on PS5. The game in this collection does have an auto fire feature, which is good, so those with motor disabilities who have the collection can play, and not have to worry about having to constantly hit the button to do quick burst shots or hold the button for a charge shot, which, again, I wish this game did have an auto charge feature, but we'll get into that in part 3. The game, in terms of accessibility, from a gameplay standpoint, it's simple and to the point, and as you can see, I'm not doing very well here, but as you can see, the gameplay is straightforward, to the point, and not complex. They have a plain objective, they present it to you in a plain way, so the plain language aspect is there in this game, as well as all the other games on the NES. Now, as for features, again, this was released in 1995 originally, so the ADA was well out for 5 years by this point. However, the caveat to that was this. In 1995, video game accessibility, again, was not a thing of conversation within the gaming industry. So your publishers, developers, Capcom, Konami, who developed some banger hits for the Super NES and NES, would not even think of accessibility because there was no way to at that time. There wasn't enough room on the cartridges to think of, okay, how can we make this game accessible for players who might have a disability? There was no way to really think about it, so the topic may have been brought up internally, but it never was made public because there was no way to have that be a part of the game as a whole, so they couldn't really present it in game. So again, from an accessibility standpoint, with the Legacy Collection that you're seeing here, you do have the auto fire feature, you have rewind, again, thank God for that, I think. So yeah, on the Legacy Collection, you do have rewind, so if you screw up, you can go back and do a retry. Again, you're seeing footage from the challenge mode. When we get into Mega Man 8, it's going to be a lot different. You're going to see a lot of different things. They just did some design choices that I didn't agree with as a gamer with a disability. Again, we'll talk about that here in a bit. One thing I would have improved on in this game, had I had my way as far as accessibility, would have been, with at least the Legacy Collection, would have been to maybe add some accessibility features in there. But again, at the time of its release, accessibility in the gaming industry wasn't a thing, and they wanted to be faithful to the retro versions of these games for retro gamers, and I understand that. So, you're probably wondering, Blind Metal Gamer, what's the point of this series? The point of the series is to discuss the history of Mega Man accessibility as a whole. And so far you're thinking, oh, Blind Metal Gamer, this accessibility sucks. I don't want to play this unless I get the Legacy Collections. Well, when we get into part 3, I'm going to be describing how a modern day Mega Man, yes, a Mega Man made for modern consoles, was given accessibility features in such a way where everybody wouldn't really know of the accessibility features, but they were there if you wanted them. We'll get into that in part 3. Now back to part 2 and more about Mega Man 8. In Mega Man 8, they decided not to have any type of auto fire for the collection or the main version, released on the original PlayStation in 1996. And in the PlayStation version, you have voice acting for the first time. The main focus was, okay, this game has voice acting, that's great. But from an accessibility standpoint, if you look at your enemy sprites when they get hit with the Mega Buster, they flash. So the return to the constant flashing is there. The animation for explosions, as in this game, has been improved, where they still just explode and just leave off the enemy shattering and dying. But the flashing of the enemy when they get hit with the Mega Buster is something that would be of concern if the player did have a seizure disorder or a history of seizures or epilepsy or anything like that. So if someone is watching this and they are seeing this for the first time, do be aware that, yes, as you can see on screen, the flashing is there, and the explosion animation that just happened wasn't a constant strobe, it was just a quick thing that just happened and it was done. But when your enemy gets hit, as you can see, the strobing takes place. And this was released originally in 1996 on Sony's PlayStation console. So what you're probably wondering is, Blind Metal Gamer, what's the big deal? 32 bits. Well, the deal is this. The strobing was there. The charge shot is there. Now, the strobing isn't as bad as on the NES or the SNES. However, it's there and it's something that needs to be addressed. So if you do play this game on the Legacy Collection or on the original hardware, do keep that in mind. Again, navigation is done by walking from left to right, and is done by, just going left to right, shooting and killing enemies, avoiding obstacles, etc. And you're probably wondering, oh, Blind Metal Gamer, what are they going to do for Mega Man 9? Well, Mega Man 9 wouldn't release until 12 years later in 2008. Yes, you heard that right, folks. 2008 was the release of Mega Man 9. And when we get into Mega Man 9's segment, I'll discuss what they did differently as far as graphics, etc., as it relates to accessibility and any type of features that would be hazardous to one's health, or lack thereof. Now, again, this game does not have auto fire for this collection and for the main hardware version, so keep that in mind. With that being said, Mega Man 8 was released, or Mega Man 9 rather, was released in 2008 for PS3, Xbox 360, and WiiWare on the Wii Shop. So you're probably thinking, hey, this is going to be epic, an awesome, more 3D graphics like we got on here. Well, you're going to see here in a bit, they went a different direction. They actually decided to do a demake. Instead of improving on what Mega Man 8 had offered, they went and downgraded to the 8-bit era of the NES from the 1980s and early 90s. You're probably thinking, oh my god, Blind Metal Gamer, this is going to be nasty as far as strobing and seizures. Well, as you'll see in the footage here in a bit, no. They actually did a lot to decrease the amount of strobing and flashes on screen to make it safer for players who might have seizure disorders or might have epilepsy. And in this version of Mega Man 9, yes, there is an auto fire feature. So there is that. However, in the original, they did not include that. And you're probably thinking, Blind Metal Gamer, oh my god. Mega Man 9 and, Mega Man 10 didn't have auto fire on PS3? No, they did not. They didn't get these features until the Legacy Collection release in 2016. And Mega Man 10, just like Mega Man 9, is an 8-bit DMEC game. And they, again, did the same style, so there's not a lot of strubbing on screen. Not a lot of things to consider as far as nasty flashy lights. Although they're there when Mega Man gets hit, but not in a great capacity. And when enemies get hit in Mega Man 10, they just turn black and then they immediately have their natural color. So, as you can see here in Mega Man 9's gameplay, they went back to the 8-bit style of gameplay for this and for the 10th game in the series. So no charge shot, no slide, no auto firing, nothing like that. Although in the collections you do see auto fire for both this and Mega Man 10 along with Mega Man 7. For Collection 2 and for Collection 1 you see auto fire for all 6 games. So you're probably wondering, Blind Metal Gamer, as far as accessibility, you're thinking, oh my god, there's no way this can improve, right? Well, it gets better. In Part 3, I'm going to discuss how a modern Mega Man game, released in 2018, improves accessibility tenfold while keeping the same classic Mega Man formula we all know and love. Next time, check out Part 3, the history of Mega Man accessibility, Mega Man 11, and the future. Until next time, I've been your host, Blind Metal Gamer, saying, as always, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and share the video with everyone you know. And if you like what you see, hit that like button, because it always helps out. Until next time, so long everyone, and peace out.